Welcome to Cameron House Marina. I'm Ruben from Marine Sales Scotland. This is our 2008 Beneteau Antares 9.8. Shaft driven by a pair of Volvo Penta D4 225 diesel engines, she couples excellent performance with instant acceleration and a solid offshore capability, all while retaining a flybridge on what is only a 9.8 metre platform. She's just completed a full hull-side machine polish, subsurface anti-fill, full interior deep detail valet, complete teak and joinery recondition, and is an absolute blend of a comfortable offshore flybridge cruiser and a sports fisher, keeping both husband and wife happy at sea. So we do have the full canvas enclosure for this back section here, the side curtains with perspex windows, but being British summertime, we've just left the bimini top up. That does a pretty good job. Inside the actual cockpit, you'll notice it's free from any moulded or built-in furniture. That gives it its versatility, so if you want to use it as an offshore fishing vessel, take the table away, you can store that in the big lazarette. Bear in mind, because it is shaft drive and straight through shafts, the engines are underneath the floor in the saloon. That means you've got all this space here at the back end where the lazarette is. You can get a couple of directors' chairs in there as well. Take them out if you want to just sit, relax out back here in the cockpit. You've got plenty of weather protection with the bimini and also the hard top overhang, which does a pretty good job of keeping the elements off you. Now we can shift this backwards and forwards. You can see where the deadbolts go in, and if you want to shift it all the way forwards, that then gives you space to get a tender onto the transom end here. You can see we've got our davits at the back. Port side, we have our hot and cold transom shower, reborn ladder if anyone wants to go in for a swim. Just underneath us there, teak deck within here, and notice how the outlines of the boat are nice and streamlined at the transom end here. That is because our cleats are internal to the vessel, and that gives it a very sleek and elegant profile while in the water. If you want to then relax when you're here, have some friends on board, you've got speakers built into the superstructure, also down at either side. Your gas bottle lives in there, and then we've got a huge lazarette under here, which I'll show you. We've got two storage bins in the lazarette. As you can see, loads of space to put all your canopies, all your essentials, your water toys as well. And then plastic fuel tanks on either side. They're much better than aluminium because they are less susceptible to corrosion. A lot of the aluminium tanks we find here on the water tend to get pitted over time. With it closed, we've taken the table away and the leg, and you can see that the deck is completely clear and open. So if you're doing a spot of fishing, this is probably the prime setup for you. Then if you needed to get round to the bow, you've got an equidistant centre console. So unlike some of your Jean Mary fishers where they have offset this area, the wheelhouse, to slightly port, that makes it look quite ugly because you get great walk around capability as well on one side, but then on other it's slightly encumbered. With this, it's slap bang in the middle, makes the boat look a lot better, and also gives you a better vantage point and driving position because you are almost effectively, when you're on the flybridge, slap bang in the middle. Up at the bow here, we've got our heavy duty anchor, lots of chain, and then high guardrails all the way around. Let's go and take a look at probably one of the key highlights of the boat, the flybridge. Totally the number one go-to driving position when aboard the boat. Also great for having friends aboard. You can converse pretty freely with them because both of the seats swivel and face backwards. Now the L shape has its backrest fixed, so someone can lie down there and take in the wake as you're motoring along. A nice locker underneath that side as well for storage. Saves you walking down the steps, down into the flybridge and into the actual saloon. The backrest is removable, as are all the cushions. The only things that are fixed are these two seats here. Now, if you have a fallout with the navigator, you can simply flick round. The captain's seat means you don't need to speak to this person here. Once you've kissed and made up, flick that back round. Both are now facing the direction of travel. Just as we look behind onto the factory A-frame, we've got a Raymarine satellite track vision dome, also radar, VHF aerial, running light and GPS, all accessible within arm's length if we need to get to them to do any modifications. As we discussed earlier, near enough slap bang centre in the middle of the boat makes it a lot better when you're coming into a tight mooring like this, for example. Then all the essentials in front of us for motoring along. So we have our VHF, which we can plug in here, that's downstairs, and clip in. Electronic controls, trim tabs, thruster, tachometer on either side, electric anchor winch, autopilot, and then our speed and depth just in that one there. If then you need to close this off, there is a flat flybridge tonneau cover for it as well. Let's go downstairs and take a look inside. We are Beneteau dealers, and the trend is pretty similar amongst the brand new Antares model range as it is with this one here, and that is the feeling of natural light that you get within here, within the saloon. No one quite does it as good as Beneteau. You have huge windows, almost a metre tall at some point, that let the outside in. There's a tint on the outside of them that just prevents some of the UV rays from penetrating within here from this area getting too hot. If it does get too warm, look at that big side opening windows on either side, and also your glass sliding patio door. Curtains for absolutely everything, so you can put someone here overnight should you need to. The boat will accommodate 6 overnight, and it will take 2 people here for the evening. Once back up, if we move this across, we can fold the table out to have it in the dinette setting. You probably get 4 or 5 people round this here. It's very hard wearing and also very soft and supple. You've got storage underneath all of it too. And when we look across to the cabinets there, that's probably the ideal position if you wanted to fit a small television for your evening entertainment. Now, while on the subject of television, down here in this locker we have our antenna control unit for the onboard satellite TV, drinks cabinet as well, and a shelf. Probably not noticeable on this side, on that side, but on this, you can see we've got LED motion or open close activated lights. So if you're coming up here for a midnight snack, you're rummaging around in the dark, they'll illuminate your biscuits, whatever it is you've got in there. On top we have channel storage for cutlery, and then just another one. Our galley fridge, small freezer compartment there above, very, very clean. Favourite saying is you can always tell the condition of a boat by the state of the fridge. Engines live underneath us. They're very well insulated, and all the reviews, if you look at the reviews of these performance wise, very smooth, very, very soft on the water. Port side we have an L-shaped galley, and it's the galley up setting. So rather than the likes of a Sea Line F37, we've got one actually just over there, split level. So you've got your saloon up here and then the galleys down below, and look at that small window there is all that the chef gets in the galley to look out of. So with the galley up here, it's all on one level. You can talk to your guests. You aren't stuck downstairs while you're cooking something to eat. You then have your twin gas burners, gas-fired oven, storage baskets, hot and cold water, stainless steel sink, and then a trash chute. So it really makes light work of preparing something for the crew. Twin sockets there, so you can plug in both a microwave and a kettle, and then USB chargers just above that. Again, above that we have our stereo control barometer, a blank canvas or a blank frame for you to put a photo of your prize catch, and then a standard Horizon VHF with DSC. That is just above the helm position. Let's get onto that. So this is the number 2 helm. You're probably going to drive everything, well, always as often as you can from upstairs, but you have a little bit more information available to you when you are down here. Now you've got your Raymarine C80 plotter, chart plotter, GPS, depth, speed, and also access to the radar on that. Raymarine autopilot. If you listen in, you might hear the blowers turn on to demist the front windscreens, and then our control for the wiper and electric anchor winch. Bow thruster here as well, trim tabs, and then electronic control, so it's very, very smooth going in and out of gear. Once on ventilation, flick that window open, that lets a free flow of air in. Just before we go down, we then have our 230 and 12 volt control panel with our Webasto diesel fired heating. Straight away on the port side, as we come down into the atrium, we have the heads on board. Now you can pull the tap faucet out, it clips into there. That turns us into a wet head once you press the button on the back of the tap now shower faucet. Notice how the sink is built into the mould for space saving here in the heads. Underneath is a storage locker, and then if you're quite mechanically minded or you're pretty much hands-on, you can open this, and this is called the technical locker. So we've got our battery charger there, a waste tank with its seacock, hot water tank there, and then some of the filters as well. Now, despite the fact this is hidden within the bulkhead, notice how naturally clean and mold free it is. Again, if you have a shower in here, there's a sink, so there's a drain built into the floor, and also a vent that lets the heating come through here to get rid of any moisture. Electric flush toilet controls are just there for it. We have storage here just above as well, and then opening portholes for ventilation. Definitely the onboard master cabin. You've got a double berth here. Up against behind that where the mirror is and the headboard, you then have your anchor winch and the chain locker. If you want to walk around either side of the bed, and that's actually quite a desirable feature for a lot of people, you have plenty of space to do it. On this side is our hanging locker storage. Again, more storage up here and on the shelves on either side, and then this side has an opening vanity. Now walking round up along the side of the bed, you can see there is built into the bulkhead a television. There's a blind for the escape hatch, and then also curtains for either of these sides here as well. His and hers reading lights just built in up against the bulkhead. More storage underneath the bed. We've got 2 drawers and an ultra clean cabin. The mattress is very clean, relatively new. Exactly the same here on the bunk beds as well. You can see the mattresses are super clean. The boat has been valeted to perfection. We've got more heating vents down here. There's also another heating vent in there, so you can use this even throughout the winter. Storage underneath that side, and if we come in and see opening porthole, another opening porthole, and then more storage there and there. Also reading lights for top and bottom bunk. Now if we want to, we can actually take and fold that bunk bed away if this is just single occupancy. You may just want perhaps a secondary living area, somewhere for the kids to come and have their own small space. Maybe you've got even bulky items for storage that you can't fit in if you have the second berth up. But if you do have twin occupancy, then there is 6 foot 1 inches worth of length on both of the bunks, so perfectly suitable and capable of taking 2 adults overnight. We'll take a look at the engines and then we'll show you the time to plane. She's powered by twin Volvo Penta D4 225s. That's 225 horsepower diesel engines, straight through shafts, and as exactly the way you want to see it, nice and clean bilges. Upon inspection of both of the dipsticks, the oil's fresh, clean and non-gritty. From standstill, the boat planes in under 7 seconds, making her water sports and towing capable, maxing out at a top sea trial GPS speed of 31 miles per hour. I'm Ruben from Marine Sail Scotland, where fun in the water begins.